Good morning. This is Rob McIsaac from the IT Navarica Group's insurance practice. Great to have you with us this morning. It is 11 o'clock in the morning here in the East, and I know somewhat earlier as others are joining us out further west. We'll just give this a couple of moments for the rest of the audience to join us, but we're very excited to be able to kick this session off today. We have now officially worked our way into the back half of the first quarter, which is a little bit hard to believe. The year is moving very, very quickly. And I think many of the top 10 trends that we worked on earlier this year and late last year to sort of frame how we saw the new year emerging are proving to play out, in some cases faster than we might have expected, which is terrific. It also means that it is a very interesting time for insurance carriers as they plan their way into the post-pandemic era and beyond. So I think that with my esteemed colleagues, we'll have a very interesting conversation today about those trends. Of course, if we have an opportunity and you want to bring questions into this, you can type those questions into the side panel and we will work them into the conversation today. If we don't have a chance to work all of the questions in, of course, we're more than happy to set up separate conversations. And after the session today, if you realize that there was something you'd really like to have asked but didn't have a chance to, the good news is you can reach out to any of the four of us and reach us so that we can set up some sort of one-on-one conversation. We'll just do a quick sound check here and then we'll get into the meat of the matter. So I'm still Rob McIsaac and I'm still coming to you from Research Triangle Park here in beautiful East Central North Carolina. Just to my right on the screen that you're looking at is Nancy Casparo. So Nancy, how's the weather where you are?
Good morning, Rob. The weather is beautiful in West Palm Beach, Florida. So little warm. It's going to be about 85, but I will take it. So good to see you.
I didn't hear you complain about that.
No, not at all.
And a little bit to our west, representing the Midwest, is John Ketty, who's still reveling in the Chiefs win, I believe. So John, how are things in Kansas City?
Good morning, everyone. Things are just fine here. A bright, sunny day, sort of like Nancy, although 58 probably instead of 85. That would be the only difference. And just because this is recorded, I do need to go on record. I'm still a Patriots fan, however.
Duly noted, John.
I like you better now, John.
And then actually from my home state of New Jersey is Ken Tofolo. Ken, how are things back in the Garden State?
Yeah, hi, Rob. Good morning. Things are great. We're still no snow in my neck of New Jersey now, northern central Jersey. So we're hoping we get through this winter without anything.
I hope you're knocking vigorously on some wood as you say that.
Definitely.
Well, great. So I want to pitch it back to Michaela for a minute just to give us a chance to get things started. So Michaela, how are things in your world? And I'll let you get us rolling.
Hi, Rob. Things are great. I just want to say good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, 2023 Top 10 Trends in Life Insurance, Annuities, and Benefits, Preparing for a Dynamic and Variable New Reality, presented by IT Navarica Group. I'm Michaela Bernier, and I'll be your host for the webinar today. We're going to spend the next hour or so walking through some of the top 10 trends in the insurance environment for 2023 and beyond. We have a great lineup of speakers who just introduced themselves to you. They'll be sharing some unique insights that they've gleaned from deep marketplace research over the past 6 months. As an IT Navarica Group client, if you have any questions for our speakers, please reach out and they'll be happy to take a deeper dive into any of the topics covered today. If you're not yet a subscriber to our Insights and Advisory service, please use this call to further your knowledge about the work we do and the topics we cover. And if you're already working with one of our team members to evaluate services, please feel free to contact them directly, or you can visit our website and click on the Become a Client link, or send an email with your questions or requests for follow-up to sales@it-navarica.com. And before we begin, I'm just going to cover some quick housekeeping items. Today's webinar will be recorded, and a link to view the recording on demand will be available after the session. Please feel free to submit your questions using the questions feature located in the GoToWebinar toolbar to the right of your screen, and we'll address them at the end of the session. So I'll now turn the mic back over to you, Rob, to dive into the content. Thank you again for joining us, and I hope you enjoy today's webinar.
Thanks, Michaela. And again, thanks to everybody for joining us. This slide just gives a little bit of background on us. I'm not going to spend any time on this at all. One of the things that I would like to say, though, is that this is a fascinating time in an industry that some have seen as being somewhat stale or somewhat slow moving. And there certainly is truth to the fact that this is a business that is characterized by relatively low transaction volumes as compared with, say, banking or property and casualty insurance, and really long liability tails, given the nature of many of the products. That said, it has some really fascinating attributes. It is a data-rich business. And interestingly enough, data being turned into actionable information is one of the things that is actually quite exciting right now in other industries and should be here. And one of the things that I've talked about with CIOs and CTOs is, as we go forward, the importance of being able to frame and tell a really good story about what this industry is all about and some of the opportunities to attract people into it. And there are very real opportunities, to be sure. Another thing that, a little tongue-in-cheek, I've said before, is that nothing in insurance is more lasting than a temporary solution. And I laugh about that because, of course, I joined the insurance industry as an intern working for Prudential Insurance in what I clearly anticipated would be something that would just get me through college, and then I would get a real job once I was done. Of course, 4 decades later, I'm still excited to be doing what we're doing, and I see some real opportunities here to be able to leverage technology in new and interesting ways. Some of that is generational change. Some of that is transformational change as a consequence of emerging technology. Some of it is just that the pandemic has laid bare some differences between this business and others. And I think it has created an opportunity for us to see a list of top 10 trends that we think are going to be critically important for companies to be both mindful of and planful around as we move forward. So what we're going to do here is that Ken and Nancy, John, and I will take turns walking through some framing of each of these trends and some of the things that we are seeing in the companies that we work with, as well as some of the advice and counsel that we are giving to people. One of the things that I'm quick to point out is that we hold all of the things that we do when working with carriers to be strictly confidential. So we take non-disclosure agreements very, very seriously. And in the work that we do, the research that we publish, unless information is public and you could look it up on Google on your own, what we will do is we will anonymize things so that as we present them, we'll frame it as a line of business, we'll frame it as a type of carrier, but we will stop short of talking about a specific carrier, again, unless armed with enough coffee and time and a really effective browser, you could Google it on your own. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive right into this, and Nancy is going to dive in and talk a bit about some of the core system modernization efforts and things that are going on, and we'll go from there. So I will pitch the ball down to Florida, and Nancy, off to you.
Thanks, Rob. So I think core system modernization it's not a new topic, right? We've been talking about it for years and years and decades. But I think there are some changes that are happening.